In this latest episode of Around the Network, I talked to Colin Jenkins from Connect the Watts. In this episode, we focus on connected fitness like Apple Fitness Plus, and we talk about a very futuristic Apple Watch-enabled service called Future, which connects you with a real personal trainer to help coach and guide you through your workouts. Check it out now. What's up, Colin? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Jeff. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. But as you can see, and probably all the viewers out there can see, I definitely could stand to Connect the Watts a little bit. Pandemic hasn't been very kind to me in that respect. So I was wondering if, just right off the bat, do you have any advice for someone that's like trying to bounce back from sort of pandemic fatigue and, you know, all that comes with that?
Yeah, the stuff that's happening now with connected fitness just is making it so much easier to kind of get started to do stuff. And like you work from home, and I think a lot of people are now working more from home. And so having that ability to like have something that's just like right there next to you, just ready to be there if you can just find the motivation to do it, I think that's really huge. And I think that it's important to like have something that's just super convenient near you, and that's just like right there, so that way you, at least when you do have motivation, you could just do something. Right.
Yeah. And this is like, you know, the idea of connected fitness, this website. Every day there's awesome articles about connected fitness products, services, and things of that nature. And that's always something I've aspired to do to get more in shape, but I've always lacked the motivation. And I feel like connected fitness is maybe the missing piece that could help me have that motivation. Do you think that the rise of connected fitness could help others like get over the hump, so to speak?
Yeah, I really hope it does, because I mean, realistically, Jeff, like gyms, and I'm speaking to somebody who's owned a gym for the past 10 to 14 years, like they've largely just been a failure in the United States, at least. I mean, gym memberships have increased 2 to 3 times over the past 20 years, and obesity rates have also increased 2 to 3 times. So there's been no real noticeable effect of people going to gyms and being more healthy. And so I think really the key is that gyms aren't working, and we need to figure out what's something else. And having something, like I said, that's inside your home, that's a little bit more gamified, because I mean, everybody watches Netflix or watches TV. So that's something everybody kind of shares because it's just so convenient. It's just right inside of everybody's house. And we need to get fitness kind of on the same level. And it's never going to be like as addicting as Netflix, because there's some pain with working out. There's discomfort with it, but for sure, it can definitely be improved a lot in terms of, you know, the gamification and just like, yeah, just having that ability to make it more attractive to the regular person who is not necessarily going to be self-motivated all the time to leave their house and go to the gym and do all the things that realistically very few people do.
Colin, I have to ask you though, I don't think I've met anyone who's owned a gym. Like, first of all, how did you get into fitness in general? And then how do you go about owning your own gym?
Yeah, and let me clarify. Like by gym, I mean like fitness studio. So it's not like I don't own some giant gym, but I have owned several fitness studios. So how I got into fitness was there's a program called CrossFit that you might have heard of. It's pretty popular. But when I started doing CrossFit back in college, it was not popular at all. And I'm lucky in that I'm from Santa Cruz, California, which is where CrossFit started. And so that's how I learned about CrossFit. And then when I went back to college during my second year, there was just no place to do it. So the really only option I had was to like open up my own facility. So what I did was I just saved I had a burrito delivery service business that I had started my first year. And so I sold enough burritos. And this is before, this is before Uber Eats. So it was actually a pretty good idea. But I was able to sell enough burritos that I was able to get enough money to open up, you know, a small studio. And so, yeah, that's kind of how I got started into it. And then, you know, just over the past decade or so, it's just been a fascination of like fitness training, program design, and, you know, motivation, and just what works for different people, because it's really fascinating, you know, how much things have changed and evolved over the past 10 years.
Where do you see Apple going as far as their footprint in the connected fitness landscape?
Well, Apple has a lot of options, and I think they tend to do things fairly slowly in terms of these new types of businesses. One thing I've noticed with their Apple Fitness Plus service, it's pretty bare bones. It's honestly one of the most bare bones basic services available. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, but it kind of reminds me of like their Apple Arcade. And it's just a minor service, and it doesn't seem like they're really putting in a ton of effort to expand it or make it really, really big or popular. So I don't think Apple is necessarily trying to really step into the connected fitness world right now fully. And I don't know if they will. I mean, I don't follow Apple nearly as closely as you guys, but I could imagine 10 to 15 years down the road, they might be interested in buying a company like Peloton, but I don't know if they're necessarily going to take that big step to developing and manufacturing their own equipment anytime soon.
I feel like Apple does sort of tend to do that. They, dabble in a certain area, but they don't fully commit to it. Obviously, one could argue that the Apple Watch, they fully committed with connected fitness in some degree, but the fact that there's no dedicated workout hardware like with Peloton makes me not as interested. Yeah,
and I would even question if the Apple Watch is really that dedicated to the connected fitness, because to be honest, even though I love my Apple Watch, like it's the least functional heart rate monitor or watch that I own, because with Apple, it doesn't work with anything else. And so very few devices are able to connect to the Apple Watch. There's some workarounds, and companies are learning to do it better, but it's super inconvenient. And, I wish my Apple Watch would work better for a lot of these different devices and services. But as of right now, it's honestly probably the least functional connected fitness wearable that I own. It works a lot. It works really well in other areas, but in terms of connected fitness, it's definitely not the best thing that I own for sure.
So what products are out there that we should know about as far as connected fitness within the same lane as the Apple Watch, would you say?
Well, there's a variety of them. There's Fitbit, there's Garmin. Whoop is a really good one because it tracks a lot of like your recovery and your heart rate, HRV, which is a measurement of your recovery. So like if you should maybe take a rest day. So for somebody who is interested in like really dialing in their fitness, I feel like a lot of these other ones just provide a little bit more. And a lot of these wearables do similar things as Apple. It's just that they're able to transmit their information to other products. So it just makes them more usable. Like if you're going to tie it to your treadmill or use it with your rower. Whereas the Apple Watch, it doesn't really do that for a lot of products.
Now, speaking of Apple Watch, I did see one of your recent videos about a product or service, I should say, called Future. It's a service in that corresponding app, and it basically provides you with your own personal trainer, like a real live personal trainer. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so the Future app was just super impressive to me because, I test these apps all the time, and usually they have some classes or a little bit of individualization, but not a whole lot. But what you said made the Future really unique is the coach is one-on-one with you, setting up meetings through FaceTime. But the coaches they have on staff are almost overqualified. Like the services, I think, is like $150 a month or so. And these coaches are really good, like professional strength coaches. And I have a lot of friends that are strength coaches, and they provide services similar to Future, and they do it at like $500 to like $1,000 per month. And I think Future even does it better than a lot of them. So that was kind of what blew me away, is the fact that they could create this kind of personalized system for you at such cheap cost. And then, as you're saying, with the Apple Watch and the Apple integration, it's so integrated with Apple that, and if you don't even have an Apple phone, you can't even use the service. And if you don't have an Apple Watch, they actually send you an Apple Watch, which is kind of cool because, when you're taking the classes, the Apple Watch is, telling you what to do alongside with your phone. And if you have a headset on, the coach is actually giving you personalized messages that they had left when they designed the workout for you. And you can change the weights that you're using on your watch, so you can record everything you do super conveniently without even, touching your phone. So I just thought it was really impressive with how well it was integrated with, the Apple and the Apple Watch.
I've always had a problem with accountability, like just being accountable. I always have these goals, but having someone to answer to, so to speak, kind of pushes you a little bit. So I don't know, I might check that out. Do I need a gym membership to use Future, or can I use it at home, or how's that set up?
Yeah, so that is kind of the thing with Future. It is based on what you have. So if you're working out at home primarily and you don't have any equipment, like, you could still use Future, but the coach is going to write you a workout with stuff that you have available. So
like, go lift that dresser over there, move that couch.
Exactly. So you probably won't have as good an experience with the service like Future unless you have at least, some equipment or, some dumbbells. And yeah, if you had if you had a garage gym, or if you went to a gym, I think that's probably ideal for a Future. And it makes sense, because a lot of people don't go to the gym because they don't really know what to do or don't have a plan and don't really.
That's me.
Yeah,
that's definitely me.
Aren't really excited because you're going to go there and, play around with something for a little bit and then just head out. Whereas, if you have a plan when you go there, it might be a little bit more enticing to, make that trek over, to the gym for like a half an hour, or whatever makes sense for you.
So Colin, are there any other tips or pieces of advice you can give our viewers to maybe if they're interested in becoming fitter? Is that a word?
Yeah, that works. Yeah. There's just a few things. Like, one, you have to start somewhere, because most people just never start doing anything. And that's really the hardest part. So if you can't afford a Peloton bike, get a cheaper bike, or find something else that you can do just right away. Download an app, follow a program, whatever makes sense. You just got to do the first workout or commit to the first week. And then the second piece that you were saying is actually huge, is having that accountability aspect. Most people that I found that are successful have a lot of accountability. And for some people, that's just, telling their family about what their goals are going to do, or what they're going to do this month, or their friends, or sometimes posting on social media works, but not usually as much. But even having a coach, that's just huge, because you have somebody that you feel accountable to, who's kind of like, say, hey, what happened this week? Or, okay, you fell off. Let's figure this out for next week, because you can't be falling off 2 weeks in a row. And so
right.
The accountability, getting started, accountability. And then the third piece, I think, for most people is, and this isn't really about connected fitness tech, but nutrition plays a bigger role than I think most people want to believe when it comes to their health and fitness goals. And you can't really ignore it. So you could work out a ton, but if you don't change your eating habits, sometimes you just don't see the results you really want. And so
right.
Whatever you do, if it involves losing weight or losing fat, you have to have some sort of nutrition component, even if it's just a broad plan of, I'm going to try eating this for breakfast instead of this. You just have to do something to that degree, because I think a lot of people do get discouraged. They spend thousands of dollars on a Peloton. They ride it 4 days a week, and they lose
and they're still getting number 2s at McDonald's every
day. Yeah, they don't lose any weight.
That would be me.
And they blame the bike, when really you got to see these devices as tools to help with that, but they're not going to necessarily be the only thing that you need to do. I know for me personally that if I have a training plan, if I am working out, it's just easier to eat better during that period. If I'm not working out, it's just, for some reason, my brain works where if I'm working out, I try to eat better. And if I'm not working out, I don't care. So I don't know if that's how everybody is, but I think there's a decent amount of people that if you start working out, you just might naturally eat better as well. But you do have to have that component in there for sure.
So Colin, I really appreciate it. You dropped some serious knowledge there. And as someone who is aspires to get fit or just get more in shape, I'm not super out of shape, but I want to be in better shape. So Colin, for those that are interested, where can they find more?
Well, you can go to the YouTube channel for Connect the Watts. That's where all of the videos go for, the reviews, guides, updates, all the stuff for connected fitness. And you can also go to the Connect the Watts website, connectthewatts.com. And that's where we post a lot of articles about more updates and news and all that stuff. So you can go to both places and, get a lot more information there.
Thanks, Colin.
Thanks.